Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is a god of comedy. With his wacky noises and incredibly clever humor, he is truly something special on this planet. He has made a masterpiece one after another. I mean, Grown Ups, Grown Ups 2, Jack and Jill. But I think the best movie he's ever been starred in has to be Sleepy Time, Go Nap Nap. Sleepy Time, Go Nap Nap is a comatose movie for children. It's a movie where this dude just tells stories in his bed and in his time. I never understood bedtime stories as a kid. Why on earth would I want my parents coming in my room telling me some fictional tale about a mouse getting a cookie? Help me sleep more. Why would that help me sleep more? I would be more awake, if anything, because I would want to know what that mouse did when he got that cookie. Did he enjoy the cookie with the milk? What if the mouse was lactose intolerant? I'm lactose. This story is just really insensitive to people who cannot drink milk without tooting. Why did this mouse commit so many acts of labor after you give him a cookie? This story has ulterior motives. Bedtime Stories is a 2008 chloroform spell starring Adam Sandler, Monica from Friends, and Carrie Russell Brand, who's in this movie as well. Remember Russell Brand? I should just make an entire video about if people remember Russell Brand. This man was like in every movie for a couple of years and then he poofed like the Avatar. He was even in Big Time Rush. Big Time Rush, one of the greatest shows of all time, and it had an episode with Russell Brand and he just played himself. It's poetic cinema. For some reason, this movie was a part of my childhood. But, like, why? Before anyone comes saying, oh, I will not accept this slander, tee-hee, baha! Rewatch a clip of this movie and try to be entertained before commenting anything. Even as a child, it is the slowest and most offensive movie I have ever seen, produced by Disney. Disney, I love you a lot, but this was a terrible idea. Nothing about this movie appeals to kids except maybe the CGI guinea pig, but even that is just and overused. I remember being 9 years old, it would come on cable, just a bunch of reruns over and over and over again, and I never once paid attention, never once captured my attention or my imagination. It would only get me bored. It was a movie that made me actually want to go outside. Me, gamer me. I was an indoor kid. I literally made the worst Facebook post in the world when I was younger about how much of a gamer I was. It's actually offensive. So when a movie from Disney starring Adam Sandler makes my 9-year-old self want to get up and go outside, you did something wrong. Something really wrong. This movie made double its budget, so it was a financial success, but it got destroyed by critics. I mean, it came out the exact same time as Marley and Me, a movie that is actually entertaining, especially for kids, because look, it's a cute dog. Any kid would love that dog. Also, what is the director's name? Adam Shankman? Shankman? This man sounds like he's gonna commit crimes in a 2001 superhero movie. He already did commit a crime by making bedtime stories. Apparently he was a judge on So You Think You Can Dance, but I don't care. I love you, Adam, but I gotta do this to you, man. The film begins in an actually really good way. The intro is cute and pretty and sets up a nice tone of wonder and inspiration, but that slowly fades, sadly. It starts with a cute pop-up book filled with stories, and we cut to this guy that straight up looks like Walt Disney himself. He runs a tiny hotel business with the help from his kids, aka he makes young Adam Sandler undergo child labor. Yeah, bro, this movie supports child labor. Eventually, we see a man just try to buy the motel because they're going bankrupt. This dude says that if the little boy works hard enough in his future, he can run the hotel. And so he sells the hotel and the hotel gets made into a bigger hotel. We cut to the future and it's just Adam Sandler being the maintenance guy around the hotel. And this is 5 minutes into the movie and this is where it loses me. It lost me as a kid straight up at this exact point because we just get that classic Adam Sandler one-liner comedy.
So we're talking about a leprechaun?
Here you go.
Oh, I didn't know your brother was in town.
Yeah, that's pretty much the rest of the movie. We see how the son of the guy who bought the hotel is in line to run it eventually, and this creates a little rivalry between Adam Sandler and that guy. We then see how Adam Sandler takes care of his sister's kids while she's away. He's tasked to babysit them. We also meet Russell Brand, who's just being Russell Brand, yeah, and we hear the most annoying ringtone imaginable. That's not a funny blip. That's not a funny moment. That's just like, why include that? It didn't entertain 9-year-old me. It just made me frustrated to hear such a noise. So that night, Adam babysits the kids after his sister friends babysits them, and I don't know, it just causes this really forced romance that comes in later, like all these types of movies have. So Adam meets CGI guinea pig, and the shots of this thing really linger every single time throughout the movie. Like, they really push this little guy as a funny thing. They shove it down your throat. You're gonna love this guinea pig. You're gonna really just look into his eyes and just see his soul. No matter, even if you're bored, you look at this guy. You're gonna keep looking at him. You're gonna like it. So Adam tells stories to the kids about a prince and relates it to his life. Now, these story sequences are really hit or miss. Basically, this movie is 2 movies. It has a normal boring life movie, and it has the story sequences which literally recap the normal parts of the life. So it's basically an excuse to extend the runtime of the movie while literally repeating things multiple times. It gets old really fast. At one point, the kids add to the story by saying it rains gumballs. Then the next day, it rains gumballs on Adam because a truck crashed overhead. This leads for Adam to start thinking, oh, I can use these kids to tell stories. That'll make good things happen for me. He catches on really quick. So the literal next night, he wants them to tell a story where he gets a car and kisses a pretty girl. This leads for a very offensive scene about Native Americans.
Come down from mountain during time of fire, wind.
We see a horse and we get an awful unasked for freeze frame. Alright, and the next day the things that only the kids say in the story come true. So more story scenes happen and Adam Sandler is at the beach and wait a minute. I have those same sunglasses. Am I Adam Sandler? Oh god, I am Adam Sandler. Oh. No. So eventually one of those stories leads to a space adventure where there's a boogie monster and kids love boogers and it's so funny. I love this. I had many the lol XD during this as a child. So one night he's supposed to present a hotel idea against the sun guy and he gets stung by a bee on the tongue, which adds for more hilarious comedy where he just talks with his tongue out of his mouth and then just I don't know. Things get resolved. Adam Sandler gets with the love interest. Russell Brand gets with another side character. There's a big ending sequence where they have to defend the school from the sun guy, and Adam Sandler just illegally assaults the jerk guy. Like that's just not allowed. No matter what kind of good deed you're doing, that's still a felony. You're not allowed to assault people, no matter what. And Adam takes over the hotel, makes it cuter, and the movie ends. This movie is boring. Absolutely a snore fest for any child. The pacing is like a snail moving closer and closer toward the ending. It's just a lazy way to tell a story by recapping and retelling literally what we just saw, but in a different way. The story sequences could have been just so cute, so wondrous and fun, but they're half attempted and filled with the worst elements. It's offensive to people with dwarfism, offensive to Native Americans, offensive to children for thinking anyone could laugh at this. It honestly makes me sad because I really like the intro. Imagine having an entire movie with the amount of wonder the first 5 minutes have. Disney is incredible for those kind of moments, but I wonder if they even remember making this movie. I have not heard a single thing about it in the last 10 years, and thank God for that. All of these story sequences really just reuse some of the exact same shots to pull you into the stories. It just gets really old. It has the oddest choices for character designs too, especially in the space sequence. Like, it's so obvious they wanted to avoid being close to Star Wars in the designs because this was right before Disney actually owned Star Wars. But the result is just the most forgettable moment. It's just I barely remember it, and I just looked at it. Every scene in this movie is the exact same. Every story is the same. It's just an hour and 40 minutes of repetition, pandering, and garbage. Also, what is this picture I just found of Bugsy on an internet? Because that is terrifying. I could write a better bedtime story than any of these. I mean, even that mouse cookie story is a better bedtime story. That is the ultimate bedtime story ever made. Bedtime stories, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself for being worse than if you give a mouse a cookie. You should be ashamed of yourself. Adam Sandler, you are a god among men, but I cannot let bedtime stories slide. If the goal was to put a child to sleep by minute 7, you succeeded. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go figure out what this mouse is doing now that he got a cookie. If you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to ask for a glass of milk. When you give him the milk, he'll probably ask for a straw. When he's finished, he'll ask for a napkin. Then he'll want to look in the mirror to make sure he doesn't have a milk mustache. He might notice his hair needs a trim, so he'll probably ask for a pair of nail scissors. What are nail scissors?